Post details an elderly, egotistical president shielded from reality by a slavish coterie of loyalists. Never said that word before. So ailing, mendacious, egotistical, and that's from media outlets that spent 4 years smooching Biden's wrinkly ass. They were so far up his butt, I'm surprised they didn't diagnose the cancer.
Greg Gutfeld went all in with sharp, fast-paced comedy aimed straight at former President Joe Biden. He pointed out every stumble, awkward pause, and confusing comment from Biden's time in office, turning each moment into a punchline with dramatic flair. From wandering off stage to those strange air handshakes that left people confused, Gutfeld turned Biden's most puzzling moments into a non-stop roast that made audiences laugh and gasp at the same time. With no script, no teleprompter, and no friendly media cover, Biden's moments were put under a harsh spotlight. For anyone who thought late-night comedy had gone soft, this performance proved the opposite. Gutfeld brought the edge back with one of the sharpest and most entertaining Biden roasts in recent memory.
President Biden boasting about how you should be thanking him this Thanksgiving.
Well, this past week, as Americans gathered around their own kitchen tables for Thanksgiving dinner, that was our goal, to give them a little more breathing room. From turkey to air travel to tank of gas.
Greg Gutfeld walked onto the stage with comedy so sharp it cut straight through the room. Every joke was packed with sarcasm and delivered with perfect timing. His target was clear right away: Joe Biden, standing there with a puzzled smile and wandering eyes, like a walking teleprompter error. Gutfeld didn't take time to warm up or ease into it. He jumped in head first, painting Biden not as a strong leader, but as a carefully guided figurehead for policies even his own team struggles to explain. Each punchline hit hard, and the crowd was left stunned by just how bold and intense the comedy became.
It's a train wreck of a fact check. Yes, Reuters invites hilarity by fact-checking obvious parody, telling its readers no such luck. Biden doesn't really chase the ice cream truck. So it's no secret the big guy enjoys his ice cream. That's just one of the reasons why Dr. Jill calls him Mr. Softy.
Greg joked that the Biden presidency doesn't feel like a normal administration at all. Instead, it comes across like one long senior moment that somehow impacts the entire world. He compared Biden to that older family member who gets lost in his own hallway yet still insists he's perfectly fine to drive everyone across the country, making everyone else uneasy. It's not that Joe doesn't know what's happening. It's that he truly believes he does, and that confidence turns simple situations into much bigger problems. Gutfeld also pointed out how Biden talks about fixing the economy while wearing the same look as someone desperately trying to remember where he left his dentures. The crowd couldn't stop laughing because the image felt uncomfortably accurate.
Guy's big ad buy comes one day before Robert Hur will testify about his report claiming that Joe is an elderly man with a poor memory. Biden will be taking his angry man shtick on tour and hit 3 swing states this week. Over the weekend, he gave us a preview of what senile moments you can expect.
Greg had a field day breaking down Biden's speeches, turning each one into pure, chaotic comedy the audience couldn't look away from. He joked that listening to Joe speak is like watching someone try to build IKEA furniture with no instructions, no glasses, and no idea what the finished piece is supposed to be. Biden might start out talking about inflation, then suddenly drift into a random story about a cornfield in Delaware that no one asked for or saw coming. The words are there, but they're tangled together like a mess of holiday lights tossed into a blender, leaving everyone confused about where the sentence is going. Half the time, it feels like someone hit shuffle on a playlist made up of political slogans mixed with old diner stories from the 1970s.
As we speak, he's actually lobbying Baskins and Robbins to make a flavor based on little girl shampoo. Although, when Joe says sprinkles, it means call the urologist.
And then there are the pauses, those famous, unforgettable Biden pauses. Greg went all in on them, using over-the-top humor that had the crowd laughing non-stop. He joked that watching Joe stop mid-sentence is like staring at a real-life buffering screen, where you're not sure if he's about to finish his thought, drift into a nap, or suddenly reboot like a government robot installing an update. Sometimes Biden leans in and whispers like he's about to reveal a top-secret message, and other times he randomly shouts a word with the energy of someone possessed by a dictionary. That constant suspense keeps everyone on edge, turning every speech into a guessing game about what's coming next.
Joe raided Mar-a-Lago with the feds. Now he gets a taste of his own meds. That's good. Yeah. Stop it. You're biting into the time. The White House admits that more classified documents were found, this time at one of Biden's homes in Delaware and in his garage. But it's cool, man, because that garage was totally locked.
Gutfeld went straight after Biden's leadership style, joking that electing him was like choosing a moving screensaver. It drifts around, looks busy from far away, but doesn't actually get anything done while everyone pretends it's working. Greg painted Biden as the leader of pure confusion, where the real risk isn't a foreign threat, but whether he remembers which door leads to the Oval Office. He joked that Biden gives off the same energy as someone who walks into a kitchen and instantly forgets why they're there, except these moments now happen while he's signing major executive orders. Greg added that under Joe's watch, buying eggs feels like taking out a small loan and filling up your gas tank requires a financial advisor, turning simple errands into stressful events. And when Biden proudly says the economy is strong, Gutfeld compares it to a magician claiming the rabbit is still in the hat while it's clearly hopping away behind him. He even mocked Biden's constant show of empathy, joking that Joe seems to believe squinting and nodding seriously is the same thing as actually fixing the country's problems.
Pennsylvania, I have a message for you. Send me to Congress that I can support this right, and I promise you, we take back Congress, we will restore Roe v. Wade as the law of the land.
Biden could show America his razor-sharp mind by debating Donald Trump, but so far, he refuses to commit.
Mr. President, will you commit to a debate with former President Trump?
It depends on his behavior.
Greg didn't let up for even a moment. He joked that Biden's answer to rising crime, border chaos, and failing schools is to show up at a town hall, mumble something that sounds deep but means nothing, then wander off stage like a dad who lost his family at a crowded festival. He compared Biden's leadership to putting a lava lamp in charge of the nation's power grid. It moves, it glows, it looks nice, but it can't actually do anything useful and eventually creates a big mess when it overheats. Greg then circled back to some of Biden's strangest public moments, the invisible handshakes, the conversations with no one there, and those times he freezes like someone hit pause on a remote. He joked that we're one press conference away from Biden greeting a houseplant and calling it a foreign diplomat, and the crowd loved the image. This isn't real leadership, Greg said. It feels more like a taxpayer-funded reboot of Weekend at Bernie's, just with podiums, microphones, and non-stop staff panic. And the only thing truly being built back better, Greg laughed, is the White House press team's emergency plan for every time Joe drifts off script, which seems to happen almost every time he speaks.
The cold, sweet treat is perfect for cooling down after a long, hot, sweaty day of aimlessly drifting around the White House like a tumbleweed. But now Reuters, which claims to be a news outlet, is getting mocked online for actually fact-checking a clearly edited video of Biden getting distracted by an ice cream truck and walking out of frame.
When it came to foreign policy, Greg didn't hold back at all. He roasted Biden as the type of person who tries to calm a dangerous wild animal by reading it a cozy bedtime story, completely missing how serious the situation really is. Whether Biden is dealing with global conflicts or talking about major treaties, Greg said he brings the same energy as a tired substitute teacher who lost the lesson plan and just wants everyone to stay quiet until the day is over. He joked that world leaders don't exactly fear Biden. They watch him like a strange science experiment, waiting for someone else to step in while he slowly nods off. Then Greg shifted to the border crisis, calling it the biggest disappearing act in modern politics. Not because the problem is gone, but because Biden acts like it's invisible while it plays out in real time every day. Gutfeld laughed that under Biden, security feels more like a mood than an actual policy, constantly changing with no clear direction. The borders stay open, the consequences keep piling up, and Biden seems more focused on sipping oatmeal while his team tells the country everything is somehow under control. Meanwhile, everyday Americans stare at their bills like contestants on a stressful game show. Guess the price, pay even more, and hope the lights stay on through the end of the month.
She's going to win.
Joe Biden was the ultimate catfish.
Yeah.
We were all online being told, oh, this is a congenial centrist. Yeah, swipe right. I don't know how to do these dating apps.
Yeah.
But anyway, then you find out it's not him at all, but some guy in a bathrobe smoking meth. Yeah. God, how many times has that happened to me?
Then Greg turned his sights on Biden's endless attempts at image makeovers, joking that trying to polish his public persona is like trying to shine a cloud. No matter how hard you try, nothing really changes. Every now and then, Biden appears wearing those classic aviator sunglasses, as if putting them on could magically erase all the confusion, stumbles, and odd decisions piling up week after week. Greg quipped that if cool shades and an awkward jog down a hallway were enough to fix the country, Biden would already be honored as one of the nation's founding fathers. Instead, he ends up looking like someone who wandered out of a retirement home searching for an outdoor concert from decades ago. Greg also went after the student loan situation, calling Biden's efforts pure financial theater. One moment he's a hero promising relief, and the next he's blocked by courts, facts, and reality, all while acting like money can just appear out of thin air. Gutfeld joked that Biden's economic strategy feels like playing Monopoly after mortgaging every property and forgetting how the game works. He added that spending 40 years in politics isn't a qualification. It just means Biden stayed close to the building while everyone else actually got things done.
Hauser and Chancellor Farabee, thank you for joining us as well. And for families across the country, the school year.
That's hilarious. I would say the footage does seem manipulated. There's no way Joe can move that fast. But give him a break, he's got oil cancer.
Next up was Biden's big push for unity, or at least the version of unity he keeps talking about, even while criticizing huge parts of the country at the same time. Greg joked that it's like inviting someone over for dinner and immediately roasting their clothes, their kids, and their car before they even sit down. You can't claim to bring the nation together while scolding half of it in the same breath. Greg delivered the point with sharp, hilarious timing, and the audience was roaring. He added that the only thing Biden has truly united is the country's shared wish to never hear another political commercial again, just to get a moment of peace. Wrapping up, Greg pointed out that Biden might be the only president who can nod off in a meeting and still get praised for looking calm and collected, as if that's some incredible feat. Greg joked that we live in a time where even Biden blinking the right way is celebrated as progress, and that's not real leadership. It's a nation collectively choosing denial just to survive the day. He pracked that America didn't really get a president. Instead, it got something more like a long voicemail from someone who forgot they already hit record, and now everyone's stuck listening.
The Justice Department's appointing a special counsel to review whether Biden mishandled classified info. So how is the White House dealing with this? Come on, just got to trust the process.
This is an ongoing process under the review of the Department of Justice. We're going to respect the process, and we're just going to allow the process to continue. Let the process continue. It's an ongoing process. I am genuinely saying to you, there is an ongoing process. This is all part of the Justice Department process as part of that process. And I said because there was a process of justice throughout this process, we just laid out the process that was taken, and that is the process.
Yeah.
Gutfeld turned up the intensity, saying, Biden's presidency feels like being stuck in a never-ending airport layover that no one planned for. Nothing works right, everyone's frustrated, and all you can do is wait for it to finally end while the announcements get more confusing by the minute. He compared Biden's policy updates to flight delay messages, always delivered with a forced smile, followed by total chaos that leaves everyone scrambling for answers. One day, Biden is promoting a green energy event. The next, he's whispering about unity while ignoring a major train derailment happening in plain sight. Greg joked that the White House has turned into a live-action version of Weekend at Bernie's. But instead of beaches and sunglasses, it's full of cards, frantic staff, and press secretaries performing Olympic-level acrobatics to explain his missteps. Every time Biden turns to leave the stage, there's a real chance he'll walk straight into a flag, a wall, or the nearest musician. And yet, some media outlets still act like he just achieved a scientific breakthrough. Greg wrapped up by mocking Biden's attempts to connect with everyday people, and the audience couldn't stop laughing at just how dramatically out of touch those moments seemed.
But what if the Biden cover-up was by design, orchestrated to protect not the president, but to enable a radical agenda? Anyone could tell Joe was feeble. But what if Biden's decline wasn't caused by disability, but by debility, meaning he was purposely kept exhausted, confused, and miserable, like an overnight shift worker or Fox and Friends viewer?
Gutfeld couldn't stop laughing as he ripped into Biden's attempts to come across as a working-class man, even while attending glamorous billionaire fundraisers or browsing fancy scented candles in Delaware like a weekend hobby. He joked that Biden talking about blue-collar struggles is like a reality show star claiming they understand homelessness because they once stayed in a slightly cheaper hotel for a night, all performance with no real connection behind it. The audience cracked up at how obvious it all looked. He also mocked Biden's awkward social media videos, those stiff, over-rehearsed clips where he holds an ice cream cone or squints at the camera like he's trying to remember what year it is. Greg joked that the videos feel more like retirement home ads than leadership messages, and the crowd went wild. He added that if Biden ever joined TikTok, his challenge would probably be called Find the Exit. As the audience erupted in laughter, Greg kept grinning, knowing this wasn't just comedy, it was a chance to laugh through the confusion and exhaustion of the times. Meanwhile, somewhere backstage, Biden was probably still asking someone where Air Force One was parked.